Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. So I saw this video from a Hispanic man saying that he never knew what Black people have been going through. That now that he can understand that when Black people talk about how they are being pulled over or chased on the road, or how they've been discriminated, treated badly, manhandled, and all that, that he did not say it from this angle, not until this ICE raid started. And he is empathizing and sympathizing with Black people. Now, let me tell us something. You know, one thing I love about Black people is that there is nothing that they don't speak. They speak it the way it is, especially their experiences, their life, their history is something that they put out there. You and I know that Black people have been screaming this for years, right? And some people do not believe it because they feel like, how can this be true? Like, how can one person be experiencing this? They've been saying it, but people refuse to hear them out because the oppressor has silenced them and made it look like they have been the talkative. They have been the one, like, very quick to tell people what is going on, that their story is never complete. When the truth is that it is the oppressor story that is never complete. They always look for a way to lie about my own people. Let's get into it.
Now I can empathize and sympathize with the Black community. I've never been able to do that before because I would hear them say things like, oh, you know, we walk down the street and we get profiled and, you know, cops will just suddenly stop and frisk or whatever just because of the color of their skin. And I always thought, like, you know, it's a little bit of a stretch. It feels like a little bit of a stretch. That person must be doing something, right? And obviously, I've never experienced that before. I've never felt that way before and stuff. And so I always thought, like, ignorantly, by the way, on my part, thinking like, you know, I think you guys are, because I'm brown, you know, I've never felt that and stuff like that, you know, I'm also a minority. But now, with us, it wasn't the cops. Cops aren't just randomly like, go and checking in the past. But now it's our turn, right? Now we feel it. Now we feel like, crap, can I just go down the street? Do I need my paper? You know, it's like, why are you stopping me? I'm a U.S. citizen. We're not doing anything wrong. And now we're being persecuted. And so now I'm thinking like, crap, this is what the Black community meant, you know? And I kind of feel bad. Well, I don't kind of feel. I feel bad because I never really could understand where they were coming from or where you guys were coming from. But I can assure you that now that it's here with us too, it's like, crap. I honestly, legitimately didn't think it was real. But it's real as hell. And it's obviously minority groups that are targeted and persecuted pretty much. And it's right now with us is because we're brown. You guys have had your turn when, you know, cops were just in bigger cities, urban areas, stopping disproportionately, you know, the Black community and stuff. And I just want to say, like, I guess now I understand. I think moving forward, there's going to be a little bit more unity because we now can see where you guys are coming from. Well, at least I can, you know. And so, yeah, guys, I just want to say sorry for being ignorant before, but I hope this unites all communities, not just minorities, and call out things for what they are, regardless of the race.
Peace, world. This will be a little bit more of a ramble, but one of my mutuals, who I'll tag down below, Ghost Samba, messaged me, and he asked me how one of his videos really took off. It went mini viral. It was him basically talking about the division between the Black and Latino community, and that video took off, and he was asking, why does that video take off, but the dozens of other videos he's made hasn't gone as far? And to answer the question, or part of the question, he wanted me to clock in on it. Yeah, people love division. Misinformation, lies, disunity will always spread faster than the message of unity. That being said, as a Black man, I do not like the identification as a POC. And I'm not trying to be isolationist. However, when it comes to the Black community, almost every corner of the earth has the N word in their own language or a version of it. And so this is very present when we live right next to each other in a lot of communities across the United States. But we have been crying out for decades now that we need to be unified. We have to be one. We have the power. We just have to stand up and stop taking these oppressive powers and thinking that proximity and assimilation is the way to freedom. And so what has happened is, especially after the 2024 election, a lot of people have gotten to the point where they no longer want to try. And I understand the effort that we have to make to, work together. I do. But at the same time, being a person of color has benefited everybody except for Black people. We get the group benefit while other groups get the separate benefits of being a person of color. And so when it comes to unity, what we expect is that if you're on the come up, you're not going to then distance yourselves from us. You're going to bring it back in and sit at the table and be like, all right, this is what we can do to make our next moves. That's how we build unity. That's how we build community. We come together. We have our skills. We have our talents. Everybody comes together. Excuse me, that was the beep. And then we all work together as one. But every time there is a gain in another community, this is me and mine's. And then, moving on further from the unity that we were supposed to have. And as a Black man, I have seen and heard and been called so many names across the board when it comes to, I was in Mexico, for example, and Mexico City, and somebody who was darker than me, he called my children monkeys. I need you to understand. And I didn't understand him at the time. My wife, she's a bit more fluent in Spanish, but I need you to understand that if I understood at the time, I probably would have took his head off. And so that's the rage that my community has been dealing with. While we are trying to build unity, entire groups of people are like, we have to better the race and distance ourselves from people. And so now that everything is going down in the US, it's like, where y'all at? We have to join. We have to be unified. We have to be one. And I do respect that. But even Martin Luther King said towards the end, before he was assassinated, before he was unalived by the United States government, he said, I feel like I've led my people into a burning building. And what that meant was that even the white liberals of the time, and probably still today, even many Black people probably wouldn't like what Martin Luther King honestly stood for. But that unity is harmful if you have hatred in your heart. And so we can build together. But it's going to take a lot of healing because a lot of people are stepping back and seeing that we have always been open, the Black community, and accepting of everyone. But many people are not accepting of us. And again, I'm not trying to be isolationist. I want us all to come together, but we have to heal within our communities first. This was a longer one. I hope you stuck with me.
Let's talk about Black and Latino relationships. Heavy, right? I'm Colombian American. I was born in South America. I was raised in a working class town in New Jersey. Growing up, all of my friends were Black. I actually didn't really have that many Latino friends when I was a kid. Most of my friends were Black. And really, I think that shaped my perspective differently than a lot of Latinos in the US. And I want to make something very clear. And I want to talk about something that I think a lot of Latinos like to ignore. First off, a lot of us have Black roots. In Colombia, in South America, about 20% of the population is Black, Afro-Colombian. My father's family has Black family. I have some Black heritage. Clearly, I would never go around saying I'm like African-American, but I just want to say many of us share Black ancestry, and we grew up in households that bear the stain of colonialism. Essentially, we were forced upon us these views by the Spanish, by the Portuguese, even by the US, because the US government kind of went into a lot of our homelands and kind of pushed their own agenda. And we were pushed to understand or to think or to believe that the darker we were, the more inferior we are. You see this a lot in South Asian communities. Indian communities, I see do this a lot. And I'll be very honest with you, I don't want to kind of start a controversy here, but I do often see a little bit of racism from South Asian communities directed at people like us, Latinos, and definitely at African Americans. East Asian communities, this is a problem there too. Maybe we'll talk about this in the future. Like I said, this channel is for uncomfortable conversations, and I want you guys to have them in the comments. I want you to discuss this stuff. So let's talk a little bit about Black Americans and Latinos, right? So this is the part that infuriates me the most. Black Americans have historically pushed a lot of the civil rights and liberties that we have in this country, in the United States. The civil rights movement was led predominantly by Black people. Many of the rights and the privileges that we have, if you're a Russian American and you're going around talking about how much you love Putin or whatever, you won that right. Well, you didn't win it, but you have that right because people decades ago fought for the right for you to express yourself, for you to be free and have freedom of speech. And I think this is something that a lot of Latinos don't understand. I think this is also a divide between Latinos who haven't really been in the U.S. that long and Latinos like myself who were either born or raised in the U.S. since children. I have noticed a culture amongst some Colombian Americans that I interact with who have only been living in the U.S. like 5-10 years, and all of a sudden they become political experts on the U.S. They're like in their 30s or their 20s. They didn't grow up here. They weren't teenagers here. They may not have even gone to school here. And yes, I want to shout out Aaliyah, my first crush as a child. And so sometimes you have discussions with them and you'll ask them like, oh, you think this is okay? Like what the government is doing, limiting the free speech of students, etc. And they'll be like, yeah, every country has the right to like determine who they let into their country and what they can do. Well, yeah, I mean, if you're a threat to the country, you should not be let in. But freedom of speech, that's like a foundational bedrock of our liberal democracy, which is what we have always been for, at least for the past decades after World War II. And I feel like a lot of these recent immigrants don't know that. I think they come from their countries with kind of backwards views on liberties, on what you can say, what you should say. Some of them think that because in their home countries, the government can kind of come and tell you what to say, then that's okay to do that here in the US. And I want to be very clear about something. America has never been okay with telling people what to do and what to say. You can take this back a couple of decades. You can take it back to Ulysses, a novel published by James Joyce, which was very controversial and made its way through the courts. And guess what's one of the most important novels of the 20th century, which would be Ulysses by James Joyce. You also take this back to novels like Tropic of Cancer, which was heavily censored and banned in many places in the U.S. And eventually it became part of kind of our cultural experience. Henry Miller's Tropic of Cancer. One of my favorite books, by the way, I heavily recommend it. But we have historically moved towards supporting civil rights, supporting speaking for yourself, and Black Americans have been a huge part of this. I'm willing to say that if it weren't for Black Americans, America would be a little bit more totalitarian than it was a couple of months ago. And interestingly enough, when you talk about this and you tell people, well, America hasn't always been a free country, right? In the civil rights movement, dogs were sicked on Black protesters. People were murdered under kind of state-sanctioned, dangerous views. And a lot of this happened because Black Americans were fighting for their rights, and they were treated horrendously by not just the U.S. government, but local governments, people in the communities that just were so ignorant and stupid that they didn't understand that, we're all human beings. And a lot of Latinos have benefited from this. Even Latinos that arrived here 5-10 years ago. But the problem is they don't know they've benefited from this. They don't know that the reason they can play salsa out in the street without having someone call the police on them, or successfully call the police on them to get it to shut it down, is because Black Americans made it possible so that integration, civil rights, acceptance of different races was something that we championed as a society, up until recently, of course. And I think a lot of my Latino brethren need to kind of get it together and start studying what this country was founded on. You can't arrive in a country, you can't come here as a new immigrant and bring with you oppressive totalitarian beliefs and think that now you can enforce them because there's a candidate that you like that does that. Like, you need to read up on John F. Kennedy. You need to read on FDR. You need to read on James Baldwin. You need to read about Malcolm X. You need to read about so many, W.E. Du Bois. You need to read about the people who fought for our rights and how hard it was for us to maintain those rights. And if you really want to be an American, if you want to come to this country and you want to say, I'm an American and I'm proud, whether you're Cuban Republican or Colombian Republican or whatever, well, you need to learn the history of this country, right? Because you came here, you chose to come to this country to live a new life, to fight for a better life for your family. So how dare you try to take that away from other people? And how dare you insult and treat Black Americans as if they were inferior to you? They're not. No one is. Everyone is deemed equal under the eyes of God. And you seem to have come here and you brought with you these beliefs. And all they do is just cause and sow hatred and seeds of evil in this society. It's a big beef that I have. I just want to say that if Black and Latino people come together, if we understand that we are in the same game, fighting the same struggle, looking for the same opportunities for our families and our children and our parents, we are a powerful force to be reckoned with. But until we realize how powerful we can be when we work together, we will remain, in many ways, unfortunately, divided. And that power will be divided. And guess who benefits from that? It ain't you, brother. It ain't me. It ain't you out there working in a factory or in construction thinking that Donald Trump is going to save you from whatever the hell you thought you needed saving from. It's Jeff Bezos. It's Musk. It's this creepy little dweeb Zuckerberg that wants to be a man, that thinks that because he has a little gold chain and grew out his little hair and has a little t-shirt that somehow he's a manly man. Yeah, okay, you can take as many Thai bowl classes as you want, Mark Zuckerberg. You're not a man. You're part of an oppressive system that hurts people and causes damages to Western democracies and developing nations who are influenced by these ignorant beliefs found amongst these totalitarian states. That's it for me now. I'm trying to upload more, people. I promise I'll talk about sports. I will. I have about 300 followers. I got another page that has about 200,000 followers, but that's a business page dedicated to something completely outside of the realm of politics, culture, sports, and society. I hope you stick around. Please, please follow my podcast. And you can also go to realdiegoarias.com. I repeat it, realdiegoarias.com. And you can read some of my essays, some of my fiction, some of my nonfiction, and some of my rambles. And I'm willing to hear you out. Any conservatives out there, any Latinos out there that think I'm wrong, please leave your comments. I believe in free speech. Free speech means that I should and read things that I don't agree with. It's all about having an open conversation. That's the whole point to a modern society. Have a lovely day, everybody. I love you. Take care. Bye.
To my Hispanic folk, I'm going to talk to you for a second. Do you not fucking know that you're at war? Do you not know? You damn near like us. You're arguing in a burning fucking house. You're arguing as the house burns down around you. You better wake up and understand what's happening. To those of you who are for this mass deportation and shit like that, have you noticed that they're not deporting white folk? They're not deporting Swedish Americans. They're not deporting Italians. They're not deporting Irish, Scottish, British folk. They're not deporting them. As a matter of fact, they're bringing South African whites over here. Actually, they're here. And guess what they've done with them? They've given them the farmland that the white folk lost, and some black folk too. So I just need y'all to understand, we're at war. This is war. There's so many different facets to war, y'all. Psychological, economical, physical, spiritual. It's all types of warfare. And this is what's happening. And unity is the only way it'll stop. Because in truth, it's more of us than it is of them. White folk are outnumbered. They always have been. The ones in power know it. So they're trying to make this country white again so that they can do the shit that's in their heart to fucking do. Jackson, Mississippi is a prime example, a 98% black city. Jim Crow laws have been enacted back there right now in that goddamn city. White folks are the ruling authority. How the fuck do you let that happen? How? Now I'm going to speak to you Negroes again. It just seems like mental illness or the hatred of your own is more strong. You rather see everything around you fucking crumble before you get together with your neighbor. Black folk, that's the stupidest shit ever. Do not fucking complain and whine about nothing no goddamn more. You understand? No more. I don't want to hear you getting on this fucking app whining about shit because you have the ability to fucking change it. Instead, we engage in these gender wars for what? The division is what's always conquered us. When I started seeing the writing on the wall, I'm a gardener. So I started this saying yesterday, you ain't got to do nothing but plant tomatoes one time with me. All it takes is one time. You don't have to do it no more. Because tomatoes always come back every fucking year. Plant them one time, find out what I'm talking about. The crash out mode is real. It's real. A lot of us are itching for something. But don't want it at the same time. Hispanic folk, Latinos, better stand up for yourself. Do something our people have failed to fucking do. Set the tone. Because they're killing your folk. They're dropping your folk in the middle of the ocean. They are. I'm sorry about that shit. I really am. It ain't for me to apologize for, but they're doing it to women and children. No regard for humanity, no regard for human life at all. If it ain't theirs. That should show you. And to you fucking hypocrites in the Latino race and the black race and every other fucking race that agree with this shit, may hell open up and swallow you. You understand? May it open up and swallow your stupid ass whole. How far we have degenerated. How far? How far we've gone down. As people, period. Specifically, my people. When I tell you y'all are, some of you, I must say, because it's not all of you, but it seems like the fuck folk, fuck boys and fuck girls, are louder than the real ones. And that shit needs to fucking stop. When you hear bullshit and you see bullshit, you have a responsibility to call that shit out. No more for this fuck shit, man. No more for this division shit, man. When you hear it, call it the fuck out. Even if you make enemies do it, fuck it. Put these simple ass folk in their goddamn place because they simple as fuck. All niggas don't hate black women. All black women don't hate they men. You get my point? Yeah, I'm jumping all over the fucking place. But it's a lot of shit going on at one time. At one time. You can't focus on one thing because they hitting you with other shit. I'm so sick of seeing y'all stupid motherfuckers, stupid ass black women on here. Yeah, I'm gonna call you. I sure the fuck am. I found so much peace since I stopped dating black men. Boy, if TikTok wasn't so stringent on the things that you can send people under their goddamn post, boy, a lot of y'all be cussed smooth out. And until you other motherfuckers, you dumbass sisters out here, I'm going to talk about you, goddamn it. Why not? I understand that you don't have a right, or shit, no one has a right. You don't have to speak to anybody if you don't want to. Yeah, I've been seeing that shit about the old man that said he spoke to a sister and she didn't speak back and what's going on with that. I understand. I get it. But why are y'all going out your fucking way to destroy us, your own? Black women are not, and you're not entitled to black women's time, and we're not entitled. We don't have to speak to you if we don't want to. I understand. And you're right. You are not your ancestors. You're not. We are not our ancestors. It's a fucking shame. It's a fucking shame. And to you black Negro clowns that always got something to say about black women, you better make sure Becky don't poison you. You understand? You make sure Jessica does not put pine salt in your soup. You understand? You fucking buffoons, man. You fucking buffoons. We got to get it together, black folk and Latinos. We got to get this shit together. We in a burning house arguing with each other. It's so fucking stupid. Meanwhile, they snatching people in the dead of night continuously, murdering our people and yours, Hispanics. And you got the audacity to step against us. How fucking, the mindset ain't right, man. Some of you need to just lay down and go.
This is all I got from this video, and I absolutely understand where this man is coming from, talking about how black people, how they are being profiled and how they walk down the street probably to protest and all that, you know. Now, this is a very great example because each time black people talk about their experiences, about how they are being profiled, police brutality, red line, all those things that happen to black people, you know, you absolutely will hear one Latino from nowhere telling you that they also experience something like this. Mind you, I am not making this up. And if you have been following my channel, you definitely will know that I always bring things like this here. They are very good at trying to compare whose story is stronger than the other person or who has suffered more. I don't know why they always play that trick or, you know, have that mindset, but this is what it's been so far. So him being able to acknowledge that black people go through all this and they don't understand, right? And he is sympathizing and empathizing with black people. And some people that do not know what is going on or that do not know history, we come back and tell you that, you know, we experience all this too. Or try to tell you, you know, some kind of story. And he is saying that he has never felt that way before. This is some people's every day-to-day experience. This is some people's daily experience. And when black people tell you all this, you all will look for a way to counter it. Or tell you, I remember one man that came out sometime to tell black people, why is it that you do not listen when police is talking to you? Just listen to them, just cooperate. And they won't do anything. And after writing that, and he is Hispanic, then he deleted it. Why did he delete it? Because his people told him you messed up. I have seen videos, you know, of black people still being very calm. Why police is talking to them and still ended up being tased for no reason. There is one that really shook me to bone marrow. And I think that was when I started talking on Black history. That day I was like, what? What? He was stopped. He came out from the car. He was with his girlfriend, and they were asking him questions. He was responding. They told him hands up. He hands up, hands up. Do you have any? Nothing. He doesn't have anything. Hands back, and they continuously tased this young man, and he was screaming. Did he pose any threat? No. Just because he's a black person. But somebody will tell you, what do you experience? You don't experience anything as a black person. But it is what it is, you know. They are always very quick to talk about black and Latinos relationship. We understand maybe there has been relationship, you know. I am not doubting if there was or if there is. But for now, I can tell you there is a relationship. But one thing I am going to say is, if there has been relationship between black and Latino community, you know, when I talk about relationship, right? If there has been, what happened last year? Because that last year is where everybody would have proven that we are here for each other. Do not get me wrong or trying to say I am instigating. I am putting this thing from the angle of having a friend, right? Having a friend and I need their help or I need his or her help and I ain't coming through. And you are good. And I know they can do that. And you are telling me we've been friends for how many? Shut up. Just shut up. Just close your mouth. Nobody's instigating or trying problems, but we are trying to be realistic on this particular matter. See, I am not saying black relationship or allies or allyship or, you know, unity will not come. But at this point in time, there is need for both parties, right? To sit down, especially one party. Everybody, as life goes on, will definitely sit back to, like, you know, introspect, to you know, remove and add in his or her life some certain things you want and some certain things you do not want, and then eventually have discussion, right? So I am going to say this. I am going to say this. If you guys have been with black people, back to black people, some will tell you they marched with black people, which I am not doubting and all that. Even there is one that I brought here that said they fought civil rights. I am like, whatever. Whatever. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news all the time. Let the comment section do the judge. Maybe I am also the one adding words into their mouth. And then the comment section were like, you did what? Fought for human right? You and who? Civil right, I mean to say. Right? So I am not saying unity will not happen. Eventually it's going to happen. That is what everybody's praying for. That is what everybody's asking for. Right? But why everybody's trying to heal? Because as you can see, black people are trying to heal from so many traumas. And the one you also caused them. I am not going to force unity on anybody. Because unity is not something you force. Unity is something that flows. Both parties or one party realizing that they've messed up big time. And let's fix the mess that we did. And at this point, nobody's going to bet. Like, black people ain't. It is if you all are ready, because they were born ready. They have been ready. That polling unit showed that they were ready. And the fact that you all did everything that happened. Why the continuous blame? Because, see, I am trying to be realistic here. Critical thinking and all that is very necessary, you know. Now, let me just use this as an example. Maybe it might help so that some people can sit down and think about it and then find out that they've been the one, like, you know, causing or stirring up so much problems. This is my phone, right? There is a crack, though. And this phone, I dropped this phone, and the phone scattered, like broke. It's broken, right? Let me say it the way everybody will understand it. And I am trying to blame somebody on my left-hand side that did not even cross to my, because this is my right, that did not even cross to my right, or did not even hold the phone, that she probably saw me dropping the phone and I did not. Oh no. Helliancy? What the hell? Did you guys hear yourself? So that is the angle that I am coming from. Because most time people are very, very eager to blame black people for no just reason. It looks like some people, like, you know, there is joy they derive that comes with blaming them for no reason. Like literally everybody's blaming them for something they know nothing about. I am not going to say unity will not come, but yeah, I think black people are trying to put themselves together and heal. Yeah. Bye for now.